Walk and Talk. The documentary about Epstein still undergoing, and it's going extremely well. It just takes about 100 billion hours to put a documentary together, and I have about 1 hour a day to do it, so it's going to take a while. Let's put it that way. Doing my best, though. I'm staying up into the late hours of the night and getting up early to work on it. There's just so many stories that have to be interwoven into, a film. And you think you've, seen it all, but, some of the things are crazy. I guess a good example of that would be Epstein's yacht, the Lady Ghislaine, right? So just to give you an example of the type of story that's in there and the type of things I'm uncovering, because I actually found some new information about it that no one has uncovered yet. So this is a little teaser for everyone, but in there is stuff about his yacht. So his yacht was called the Lady Ghislaine, which is named after Ghislaine Maxwell. And before Epstein owned it, it was owned by Robert Maxwell. And this is the boat that Robert Maxwell was allegedly assassinated on for revealing means and methods about intelligence operations of a very small country. So, with that being said, I'll turn around so you can see the walk today. With that being said, the owner previous to Robert Maxwell, who's, considered this Italian, if you will, super spy, was a man named Edmund Khashoggi, who the boat was originally built for. And Edmund Khashoggi is, a famous Middle Eastern guy. It's involved in all types of critical infrastructure projects over there. And I think it's his nephew, is Adnan Khashoggi, who is one of the world's largest weapons dealers in the history of the world, and has negotiated a bunch of weapons deals involving the Middle East, including being involved in the Iran-Contra affair. And Adnan Khashoggi is one of these individuals who, has all types of parties and things of that nature. He was on TV a bunch of times. He's a big-time media personality from back in the day as well. So it's just a really interesting, thing. But then it gets even crazier than that. So if y'all remember, so not only is this boat tied through all that history, which is already well known, but if y'all remember, the boat went from Lady Mona Kay, which it was named under Edmund Khashoggi, and then it became Lady Ghislaine after Robert Maxwell bought it, and then it became then it became, and still is currently, Dancing Hare, right? And as it was the Dancing Hare, when Ghislaine Maxwell was missing, she was potentially, I believe she was, spotted by one of my followers coming off of the Dancing Hare a few weeks or days or so before she was arrested in New Hampshire. So, and the media now confirms this, that there was a potential sighting of her in New Zealand coming off of the Dancing Hare. It's considered an unconfirmed report, but if you look at the picture, in my opinion, it's definitely Ghislaine Maxwell. However, the Dancing Hare, well, if it's no longer owned by Jeffrey Epstein, it was sold. But the question always was who was it sold to? So who owned the boat when Ghislaine Maxwell was spotted on it while she was evading authorities before her arrest? Does anyone know? Turns out it was Anne Murdoch, the wife of Rupert Murdoch, is who bought the Lady Ghislaine. Talk about the rabbit hole goes deep. That's just one little example of the type of connections that are in this documentary. And like when you think about that, like I have to record all this, put it all together, show the evidence for all these types of things. So it's quite a bit of work. So it's going to be a little while. And in the meantime, we have the fake actors, the anti-Israel actors, all fighting amongst each other, cross-promoting each other, not talking about any of the important things as they get promoted on platforms that are owned by the friends of these people. Like, you know, so the network is very much still intact, and I'll be showing that in the documentary. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But these people have infiltrated all levels of society. I saw another thing where, what was it? It was the program to chill, I guess you could call it, individual that everyone saw go and did the bad thing with the metal protector, or metal protectors, if you will, monograph speak there. And basically, if you look at the dude's metal protectors, right, you'll see that on them, and no one's talking about this, everyone's pointing at the, he wrote, you know, do naughty things to Donald Trump, and then he wrote, you know, destroy Israel or whatever, and he's got all the pro-Palestine stuff. But if you look at his thing, he's got all types of satanic symbols on there. Like all types of upside down crosses. He has 666 on there. Like, and nobody's mentioning this, by the way. But why, even the people that are pointing out the other symbols, like Laura Loomer, I saw her thing, she didn't mention it at all. No one is mentioning the like blatant satanic like stuff all over his metal protectors and his extra batteries. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with that? And doesn't that fit the programmed to chill series definition, where back in the day it was all these you know, serial killers? They're going around and killing people, and they all had all types of satanic cult and like MK Ultra type connections to like psychiatric hospitals and military psychiatric hospitals and things of that nature. And then all of a sudden, once that program was done, they switched from what was the remnants of the Phoenix program. If you look into that, you'll see what I'm talking about. And they started having the mass party guy, right? And now all of a sudden there's all types of mass parties, and all of these people, when you look at them, yeah, they are, you know, they got a dick and wear a dress or whatever, of course, but also that's not all of them. Like if you look from Columbine to now, you'll see that a lot of them had like satanic stuff going on. And this all goes back to the stuff that David McGowan was talking about in his book, Program to Chill, because these programs have moved from creating the serial party guy to the mass party guy. And it's all done to transform society, right? These people, if you look into a lot of their backgrounds and stuff, a lot of these people are into psychiatry, and like these people, they've been running like programs on how to understand the mind of men. Truthstream Media has done great work on this, and you can see like they do these programs to like slowly alter society through mind control. And that continues down to the subjects they use to pull off these types of things. So, so I had to say about that. I forgot what else I wrote into the title. What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, I guess that was pretty much it. It's just like you don't like these controlled ops things are all part of the same thing, right? Like they understand how to control the narrative. And yeah, so how this was, it was big tech infiltration of our critical infrastructure. So some dude was arguing with me on Twitter about, I said, oh, we shouldn't have our critical infrastructure, like our, Intel Inside chips being designed and core coded overseas in Israel. They should be done in the US as a national security thing. And the worry there is that Israel's been cutting all types of deals with Russia and China, and like a huge amount of Russians migrated to Israel after the fall of the Soviet Union. So there's a ton of Soviet Russians living in Israel now. And Israel has not just Intel. So it's like Intel Inside has their R&D center now in Haifa, Israel, which means the core coding and design of all the chips is done there. And then, yes, they are manufactured around the world, but they're not being designed around the world. The core coding and all that's being done in Israel. And that's the concern. That should be done in the United States, right? And some dude was like, look, you're antiseptic. They have manufacturing plants everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, I get that part, but I'm not being antiseptic, first off. If I was, you'd know it, and it would be a joke. And second, they don't do R&D all around the world. They're not putting like Intel Inside R&D centers in Malaysia, even if they are putting factories there. And that was the argument I was making. The guy just didn't fucking understand that. And that's because these people follow alt media, and alt media is, Brennan O'Connell just did a really good video about it. Basically, they needed a way to market to the dissidents. So that's what alt media is. It's a way to keep the dissident population in line by marketing media to them to keep them entertained and to sell them products. And that's what alt media is. All of them. And most of them are sexual deviants that are under blackmail control, like Nick Fuentes and his cat boys and his other .pdf type tendencies, and his .pdf type friends like Ali Akbar. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to say today. And I hope you're all having a good day. Hope you enjoyed the walk, and I hope this was a good talk for you. And yes, I am enjoying the end of summer, but I'm very much looking forward to ski season. So hope you all have a nice day out there, and I'll try to get the documentary done as soon as I possibly can. Hope you guys are excited for it. It's taking me a lot of work to make it. Peace, everybody.